loud typer. It's like a secretary from the 1950s with like those old timey typewriters.
That is so interesting you say that because when I do the Thursday episodes of Alison Rosen's Your New Best Friend, Tony's typing when he's taking notes is like, I
Uh-huh.
refer to it as Tony's torrential typing. And my friend Dustin was like, I thought it might be, the fifth character on the show, like, because he was hearing it too. But I'm not typing loud. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Anyway, we're live now. Hello, everyone.
Hey now.
Hello. Welcome. I don't I don't know who all's there so far, but okay, hang on. Let me just pop this out and then we will truly get going.
Well, if you are just tuning in and maybe you expected some extra entertainment, let me tell you a joke.
Yeah, I want a joke.
This guy's coming home and he's shit-faced. Wife hears him jingling his keys. She opens the front door. Guy is standing there. He's got a pig under his arm. And he goes, "This is the pig I've been fucking." She goes, "You've been fucking a pig?" He goes, "I was talking to the pig."
I love that one.
That's why I like telling jokes to Jews is they've heard them all, but they want to hear them again.
Oh my God. By the way, we haven't started the official show yet. However, by the time I was like 11, I had heard so many ridiculously obscene jokes. Like,
Yeah.
do you know the one, and I'm not going to tell it, but I'm just going to reference it, although I may end up. Do you know the one about, like, you should see how he makes the donuts?
No, but I could write the joke backwards.
Oh, do it.
No, I don't know.
Okay, so it's this guy who's making pizza and he like throws it up in the air and spins it around and then it falls on his big fat belly and he like flattens it on his big belly and spins
Yeah.
it in the air and flattens it on his
Yeah.
big belly and someone's just like, "That's disgusting." It's like, really? You should see how he makes the donut.
Right,
I mean,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard that one so young. Okay, let's start with our theme song. Let's get this show on the road.
Childish, oh shit. Last time I checked, I was still a kid. Childish, childish. This all freaks me out a bit. Childish, oh shit. How can I parent when I'm still a kid? Childish, oh shit. Who the hell decided I was ready for this? Childish, oh shit. This is like a job that I cannot quit. Childish, oh shit. Maybe I should have got it fixed.
Hey now, Greg Fitzsimmons on the mic.
Alison Rosen on the other mic.
Together we make up a team of lethal advice meets comedy programming called Childish.
Are you suggesting that the advice we offer is lethal?
No, the comedy's lethal. The advice is just dead on. Yeah.
That's right. Here we are.
I always read in the Sunday Times, they have the magazine section has a column called The Ethicist, which I love.
Yes.
You ask him questions and then he gives you the right answer.
The most ethical answer.
So yesterday's was this woman writes in and says that she had broken up with this guy. They'd had a long-term relationship. They broke up. It was a long-term relationship. So now he flies out to California, tells her he has since gotten into another relationship, but then he says, but he's trying to get out of it. And they then re-up their romance.
And
the
then scent of another woman on him made him perhaps irresistible.
Could be. So this goes on for a while, and then it spills out that he has thrown a ring on this other woman's finger and is planning on marrying her. And so she breaks it off, and now she's wondering.
She breaks it off the ring one or the original one?
No, the original one, the OG.
Breaks it off.
He breaks it off, and now she's wondering, should she reach out to this new fiance and warn her that she is in fact with a philanderer before she gets set up in a lifelong relationship with a liar? Allison Rosen, your response.
Yes. Yes. No one's
Her
going to like that
question,
she
though,
does this.
Her question was, would she be doing it for the woman altruistically,
or
or
for
is she
her.
doing it out of her own vengeance to hurt the ex-boyfriend?
I think it is
So
important.
the question isn't, and sorry to keep cutting you off.
No, but I love it.
But
Okay.
to put it in the context of the column, it's whether or not it's ethical. It's not whether or not you would do it. It's whether or not it's the ethical thing to do.
Right. It's, my, excuse me, my reaction is, it doesn't really matter what the intentions are. I think the ethical thing to do is to let this person know, because if she discovers it on her own X many months, years, decades, probably not decades, into the relationship, she was probably going to be like, fuck, I wish I had known. I do think it's for the OG, it's worthwhile to figure out what are her motivations. However, I do think it is ethical to let her know, and also it probably will feel satisfying on a really base way that we shouldn't give into.
Well, his response was the opposite of yours, which was, he said Immanuel Kant, the 19th century German philosopher. No, I don't know where he's from and when. Who writes the ethicists every week. He would say that that intention is where ethics come from. And if your intention is to hurt him and to validate yourself, then it is not, in fact, that should not be included in the equation. And you also, he said, you should factor in, you also cheated on her. So who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And factor in whether or not that woman, how she's going to take it. And whether or not, in fact, she doesn't already know. You don't know that. You don't know what her take on infidelity is.
Well, if she already knows, then if the OG brings it up, it's no big whoop. Like, yeah, I know. I love that about him. That's one of my favorite qualities about him.
Every time he fucks somebody else, I feel like he brings a new move into the bedroom. He acquires knowledge.
Yeah, he's out. He's researching. This is R&D. What was your reaction?
I honestly didn't have a feeling one way or the other, because I felt like, as a man, what you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it, but I felt like this is a female thing. I think there's a sisterhood that they would maybe protect more. Whereas with a guy, it would just be like, she's fucking someone else, whatever. I'm getting laid when she's here.
The thing that concerns me about this is that it wasn't just getting a little tail on the side, which I don't think is okay when you're in a committed relationship anyway. I'm not saying go for that, but I'm saying that to me is different than, it sounds like it was both physical cheating and emotional cheating in this case, right?
Absolutely. He was promising
cool when
her
you're
things.
engaged. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a guy who, will continue to do this throughout his life. There's no doubt about that. This is not something that, like, I do think that a man is more apt to have a physical slip up.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have I think you're exactly right. When you have the emotional slip up, I think that shows a pattern.
Right.
I think it shows something wrong with you as a person, that you would be able to even look your significant other in the eye after behaving that way. I
was the other woman. I think I've talked about this before. I had been in, and I don't defend it. It's something that I feel horribly regretful and remorseful about. I was like, I want to say I was a different person then. I look back on my behavior during those years, and it's like, I was so desperate for attention that I really thought any guy who came on to me in a really seductive way, and men who are cheating on their girlfriends or wives always come on in a really seductive way, because there's like no stakes for that. I mean, yeah, there's not the same emotional stakes as there are for a guy who his intent is good and he's putting himself on the line to let you know he likes you, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. It's kind of all like, it might all be a game to them. So yeah, I was just so desperate for attention that I truly believed that all those like scraps of emotion that were coming my way could be something real. And I always stayed on this side of the line, except for this one time, which that like scared me straight. But anyway, that guy claimed to me, this is the first time I've ever done this. And I remember thinking, bullshit. Like, you are so calm. I'm the one who's racked with guilt over what your significant other is going to think and feel. He was so A-okay with everything. And then when I broke it off, he had the audacity to act like the victim in the situation and like really hurt.
Yeah, no,
but I think he
had
convinced
himself. They're broken
himself.
people. Yeah, there's a lot of machinations that go on in their fucked up brains that justify it, and then
right.
You know, and it's like I mean, the extreme example. You look at like cult leaders and how they can draw people under their spell and make each woman in the cult feel like she's special, and you know, or pimps with hookers. Like, there's a lot of ways that men manipulate women, and you know, women manipulate men as well. But I think it's more so the case of men doing it. And you know, I cheated. Well, I was the cheater or the cheatee. There was a girl that I was sleeping with that had a boyfriend, and he was in a famous band. He was the lead singer in a famous band, and they were on the road a lot. And I remember thinking, well, he's probably cheating on her. He's like on a world tour.
Right.
But it didn't make it right. And every time I hear a song of theirs come on the radio, I have to change the channel. I feel really bad. Like, anytime Brown Sugar or Street Fight Man comes on, I'm just like, I can't do it to him.
Right. Yeah. It sucks too, because that's a good band.
I know.
Yeah,
I should have picked like, you know,
Hootie and the
like
Blowfish?
Aerosmith or something. Somebody who I don't give a shit about. Yeah.
Not even old Aerosmith?
They have 2 songs. I feel like Aerosmith is the most overrated. Don't get me wrong. Their 2 big songs, or maybe it's 3, are rock lore. They are as good as any rock songs that have ever been written, performed. But that's it. There's no depth at all. I mean, you look at Led Zeppelin, who have 6 or 7 albums that are start to finish fucking brilliant. Is Led Zeppelin 3 people argue about. But, you know, and then you got the Stones, you got the Who, you got, I mean, no, not Aerosmith.
Is Led Zeppelin 3 the one with the Immigrant Song?
No, Led Zeppelin 3 is the acoustic one. They went off into a castle in Scotland and they did the entire thing without power.
The one that's like, hey lady, you've got the love I need. That one's acoustic. It's acoustic.
Maybe that is Led Zeppelin 3. Hold on, I'm going to check.
The way I sang it was terrible.
Wait, sing it again. Put something
lady,
into it.
You've got the love I need. Maybe more than is that Squeeze My Lemon till the no, I don't know. I forget. I'm gonna look in the chat room and see if anyone knows which song I mean. Does anyone know a song that starts Hey Lady?
Lady, you got the love I need.
Yes, that's the song.
Baby.
What song is that?
What did you say it was?
Oh, darling, walk a mile
with me.
Oh, you got some time.
Is that Immigrant Song?
No. Immigrant Song is we come from the land of the ice and snow from the mid.
Yeah.
Is this what they tune in for?
No.
You know what they tune in for? Stuff about children. But first, can I please get your thoughts on the following? Because the following story involves marriage, and I feel that is well within our childish umbrella. So, here we go. We're doing some cleaning around the house, and there is a stack of large unopened cardboard boxes in our dining room, behind our dining room table, that's been there for so long, it's like I don't even notice it anymore. It's just become part of the decoration of the dining room.
Right.
So we've been going through stuff, though, and I said to Daniel, next up we should tackle these boxes. What are those? And Daniel installed some shelves in our office a row of shelves. And those, he thought he wanted to do 2 rows, but he ended up only wanting to do 1 row. And I agree that's the right decision. So those are the
Can I just point out, this is not the first shelf issue in your home. When you moved in, he built a shelf above those French doors in the living room. That was a subject.
No, he built it on either side.
Yeah,
and then you commented that it looks like this is because this was back in the in-person days. It looks like we need something across, and I was like, that's what I thought. And then he was not happy with. Anyway, yeah, maybe he and I need to avoid shelves.
Could be, yeah, but
too late.
Yeah,
too late. We've already allowed shelves into our bed. So anyway, these are the extra shelves. And he's like, oh, yeah, those are the extra shelves. I either need to find a place in the garage or I need to sell them because it's too late to return them. And I said, oh, how much were they? And he said, about 100 each. There's 4 of them. $400 of unused shelves. Now, you might say to yourself, just put them in another room. They're not like that. They are not shelf. That's why we're not doing another row of them. They're like very just big rustic looking shelves, and the brackets are like these big. It looks like something off a ship, which is good in a small dose, but it like doesn't. I think they're fine, but there's nowhere else we want to put them. So
what about on your ship?
There's nowhere else we want to put them except for on our ship.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that?
Well, because it's hard. Shelves on a ship are tough because when you get tossed at sea, things often slip off the shelves. So I get it.
The only thing that, like, according to maritime law, the only thing you can put on your shelves, marshmallows.
That's
and we
true.
don't have that many marshmallows.
You don't. You can get more because now you have shelves.
Right. It just feels like cart before the horse.
Maybe.
They always say count your marshmallows first, and then you'll know how much shelves you need on your ship. So anyway.
But you got to be careful. Don't enlist people to help you count your marshmallows because people get high on their own supply. You have less marshmallows than when you started.
Yes. Yeah. And you know that study with little kids, it's like you can have extra marshmallows if you can wait 10 minutes. Only hire the kids who could wait.
Yep.
If you're hiring child labor to count your marshmallows in your ledger. Anyway.
Or diabetic kids because they know that they'd have to get a shot if they ate one of the marshmallows.
Right. I mean, you may as well have a insulin on hand. I couldn't remember what. Anyway, enough. Let's leave the ship stuff for the ship segment of our show. For some reason, I'm so cranky and wound up today, which I know I seem like I'm in a lovely mood, but it's an illusion. I just got really irritated with this extra $400 that we spent on these shelves and he missed the return window and am I overreacting?
What was his intention?
I mean, his intention was to put up nice shelves around the office.
Yeah. For who?
Him but also me.
But
us.
Also,
for us.
Yes. Yeah. So did he buy a new set of hockey skates and padding? Did he buy a new stereo system for himself? No.
No.
He got
his
something for you
intention
guys.
was pure.
The intention was pure. Kant would say that what he did, he may not have executed it well, but his intention was good. And and don't forget, you'll get dollars to the dollar. He can sell them probably $400 worth. He'll get 200 back, 250.
Right, but right now he's not. This is what I said to him. I said, before you for sure decide that return window is closed, at least call the company where you bought them and see if there's any way. Because and maybe this is factoring into it, I bought all these new Zoom tops, because I was tired of all my samey tops. And I bought all these tops, and I don't even know what size I am anymore. So I bought basically this, a few different sizes of the same top and a whole bunch of them. And then I went to initiate the return, and my return window had closed.
Oh, no.
Oh, fuck. Oh,
Your
fuck.
intention was for you.
the shirt. Well, no, it's really for the entire audience of Childish and Alison. It's for you too, Greg. I bought shirts for us. And given how much I hate shit like that, I was like, ugh.
No, I remember you
could I do
talking
this?
about it. This was a big issue for you that you bought new clothes, and you felt
Yeah.
really good about it.
I did. So anyway, though, I called them, and I was just like, I made the biggest mistake. I thought that I had longer to return them, which is true. And I am looking now, and the return window's closed. Is there any way I could get store credit? Blah, blah, blah. And the woman was like, you know what? It's been a crazy year. I'm just going to send you a return label. And I was able to return them, and it was great. So that's why I'm saying to him and to anyone listening, stores might be making exceptions because of the insane times right now.
I think everyone's making exceptions. I mean, I think that the woman in the New York Times today, that maybe she should give this guy a break. It's been a crazy year. Maybe you need to take a lover.
I think that's more of an exception than I was thinking. But sure, if that works for the pair. You know, I met whoever the ethicist was before the current ethicist. I was on a panel show with him in New York. And what I remember is he rode his bike there. And he was the thing about people who ride their bike to work, they're often very, very moist by the time they get there.
Yeah.
And that's the trade-off. Like, they're in amazing shape. They feel great. They probably sleep soundly, but they've just got so much sweat dripping down the sides of their face when they get there.
Yeah. I remember that guy. It's a Jewish last name.
Was it Randy?
I feel like it was Randy.
Randy Juberg? I think it was Randy Juberg. My last name is Rosen, so I can say that. How are you doing, Greg? You've been traveling, huh?
I've been traveling. I'm home. I believe I'm COVID-free, but I'm quarantining in the back for 5 or 6 days. So I'm back to watching a lot of TV. Oh, my God. I don't want to get into a TV review, but let me just say this. I saw a documentary that blew my mind. It's on Netflix right now. It's called Tell Me Who I Am. And it is about these identical twins that grow up in England. One of them has a motorcycle accident, loses every memory except he still knows his twin brother. And that's
wow.
So now the twin brother has to then download him on what his life was. Every event, he doesn't recognize his girlfriend, nobody, his mother. So I'll leave it at that because I don't want to give anything away, but it is riveting.
Is it really sad?
Yeah.
But you recommend it.
Highly recommend it.
Highly recommend it.
It's not just there to make you sad. It makes you think. There's some profound questions answered about or asked about what would you do in that situation? What is a life? Is your whatever. I don't even want to give anything away. Just watch it.
I need to
and we'll
watch
talk
this.
About it. We'll talk about it next week.
I mean, it's got pretty stiff competition with Below Deck, which I have started and I can't get enough of.
Wait, what's that?
Below Deck? Oh my God. It also tackles weighty issues. This is on Bravo. It is reality TV. I know, but it's not as reality TV-ish as like Real Housewives or Vanderpump or any of that stuff. You might actually like it. I started with the first season and it reminds me of early Road Rules, early Real World. It concerns the crew of a charter yacht. So like people will charter a yacht, for $100,000 for 3 days. And it's like the captain and then the people
cook,
the chef and all the people who work on the yacht. And they not openly, but they make so much fun of the guests. It's amazing that anyone would decide to go on this show as a guest, but it's surprisingly good.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's trash TV, but I'm enjoying it. It's something entertaining. You know what else is sometimes entertaining?
The news.
The news.
Time for the news.
I just want to make a quick little note, and I can't decide whether we should have Pete cut out this note or not. However, people who are watching live right now, youtube.com/Alison Rosen, or who watch after the fact, I've been getting comments like, who's Pete and why is he leaving in the stuff that you tell him to cut out? That's because if you watch the video, you're watching a live recording of us as we record the show. We let it all hang out. You're seeing
it's unbelievable.
Our bloopers. You're seeing the bad words we say. You're seeing pretty much
interruptions.
That kind of,
people come in.
Just all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm debating whether to say that or not is because I'm like, maybe we should have Pete take out a few of the things from the video. I don't know. You know, this really could go a number of ways. But heed the note. Okay. Greg, inauguration is the day that this airs is the day of inauguration. And
well, if all goes well, yes.
The intent. Immanuel Kant would talk about the intent of the inauguration. And it is intended to happen on Wednesday. And it's going to include programming aimed at kids, along with a message from Jill Biden. On Wednesday, actress Keke Palmer is set to host an inaugural first, a curated live stream for youth titled Our White House, an inaugural celebration for young Americans, which will take place before and after the inauguration ceremony, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. That is so early for us West Coasters. The event will also feature a message from Jill.
10 a.m. Eastern?
Yeah, so 7 a.m. for you and me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. The event will also feature a message from Jill Biden, who holds a doctorate in education. Did you see that ridiculous guy who wrote an op-ed about saying that she should just drop the doctor from her name because she's not a real doctor?
And that guy, by the way, went to community college. Undergraduate
really?
degree. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Our White House.
Not community college. I'm just saying, like, it's not as good. Yeah.
An inaugural, so our White House, an inaugural celebration for young Americans, will have a segment on the presidential pets, who will be the first pets in the White House after 4 years. The United States has been without presidential dogs since 2016, when Donald Trump began without a dog in decades. Anyway, that sounds cool. If I'm up, I will watch it. I'm interested in the dogs. Some people were tweeting about something yesterday called an indogguration, and I don't know what it was. But there was some kind of streamed event involving dogs.
Well, this reminds me of, the Super Bowl is coming up. I think it's February 6th. And whenever they do the Super Bowl, they counter program on, I wish I could think of the channel.
It's Animal Planet.
Is it Animal Planet? Yeah.
Yeah, the Puppy Bowl.
Yeah, the Puppy Bowl. And it gets crazy big ratings.
Yeah, it's so cute. It is so cute.
Yeah, so I'll watch some of that. Now you got me thinking about getting up at 7 a.m. on Wednesday. Am I going to do that?
Probably
not.
Am I going
to DVR it? Of course I'm going to DVR it.
Going to DVR it.
Yeah.
Our whole cable situation, I don't know what exactly we're doing right now, but now we watch television through our Apple TV on the Spectrum app on the Apple TV. So now we can't DVR anything.
Well,
I don't know why we're doing this.
Do what I did.
What'd you do?
The cable, and I got YouTube TV. You can DVR. Ready for this? Unlimited.
Really?
You can record as much as you want. You can set weekly recordings, daily recordings. If you got a daily show you like, maybe it is the Daily Show.
How redundant.
I recorded the football game last night. It went long, and it recorded the ending. It knew to extend. You can fast forward through the recordings.
What does it record onto?
A cloud.
Get out.
Yeah.
Get out. So you just, is it like through an Apple TV though? Or what?
You can do it through your Apple TV. You can do it through your Roku. You can do it through an app on I watch it on my computer because I was on the road. You can watch, ready for this? You want to watch CBS, your local CBS station while you're in Phoenix, Arizona? Boom, on your phone, one click. You're watching it live. It's
why are they not
watching your own TV?
Why are they not a sponsor with this kind of plug?
I know.
Well, I got to look into that. Is it expensive?
$65 a month versus the $110 I was spending on cable.
So now do you get your cable channels too, or is that like you have to pay for that separately?
You get tons of cable channels. obviously not HBO, nothing premium, but Comedy Central, all that stuff, CNN.
Right.
And then, and the best part is you can hook up 5 different TVs. Like because we have a guest house in the back. Now, if you have a guest house, this quandary is if your house is wired for cable and you're charged for that, you can't run the cable to the back house. You got to hook up a whole separate cable system for the back. Yeah.
Why?
Because that's how they screw you. So now,
the man.
YouTube TV, you just add another viewer. So I've got I got a TV in my office. Now I got all TV on that without a cable box. On the road, I got it. Anyway, let's call them up and say we want to sponsor.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
But now for your internet, you do pay the cable company for that, right?
Naturally.
Yes. Okay. Also,
here's another story.
I have another story.
Oh yeah, let's read your other story.
Article in the New York Times, The Psychology Behind Sibling Rivalry. And observational studies have shown that sibling conflict may happen. Are you sitting down? Get ready for this.
Yeah.
Up to 8 times an hour. Which sounds like a lot, but actually that's about how it happens, at least that much in this house. It's nonstop. Other research finds that pairs of sisters tend to be the closest, and that sibling dyads, and I don't even know what that means, I'm going to look it up, that include a brother have the most conflict. I'm imagining dyads, does that mean
brother,
groupings?
sister?
But dyad specifically, it must mean like pairings or groupings or something. And then, but on the positive note, conflict decreases into adolescence. It kind of levels off. Sibling rivalry is such a profound thing that hundreds of years ago, when child mortality was much higher, children under 5 with close in-age siblings were more likely to die. These deaths were related to increased prevalence of childhood infectious disease, like potentially less parental attention. So what they're saying is sibling rivalry is like a very primitive, innate impulse.
Cain and Abel.
Yes, exactly. Related to survival.
By the way, I looked up dyad.
What does it say?
A dyad is a structure in the cardiac myocyte located in the sarcome Z line. It is composed of a single T-tubule paired with the terminal cisterna of the cytoplasmic reticulum. That's spelled D-I-A-D. The one spelled D-Y-A-D refers to a pair of persons in an interactional situation. For example, a patient and therapist, a woman and her husband, a girl and her stepfather, etc.
I like how many examples they gave. Like, I think I got it the first time.
Yeah.
You know? Okay.
Well, listen, I got a brother who's 13 months older than me. He gave me this sweatshirt for Christmas, by the way. Do you like this?
I love it. I just can't with a Nike swoosh.
Well, upside down Nike swoosh.
Oh, upside down Nike swoosh. I like
just can't.
Isn't that what your voicemail says? Your outgoing voicemail?
That's what's so great about this gift, is he bought it knowing that was my outgoing, and the shirt alone would have stood on its own as a great gift, but the fact that it is literally what I say on my outgoing but my point is, we're 13 months apart, which they call Irish twins. Mm-hmm. And there was no bigger sibling rivalry than us.
Right.
I mean, you can't have kids that close together, and God forbid they're both boys. But then you talk to like the Brennan brothers, Kevin and Neil, and those that band of merry pirates. You know, they're
There's
comedians.
like 400 of them.
There's 10, and they do not get along, any of them.
Right. Oh, none of them?
I shouldn't say none. I know 3 of them. I know Danny, Neil, and Kevin, and they do not care for one another.
I know Neil and Kevin don't get along. I didn't realize this. Wow. Yeah. So wait, your brother's 13 months older than you. You guys fought a lot growing up. Where are you now?
Oh, we're good. We're good. We just talked on the phone for an hour yesterday. But it's tough, I think, but I don't know that it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. And again, like the Brennans are a bad example because the father was an alcoholic, and I think they grew up without a lot of money. And I mean, how do you have a lot of money with 10 kids? And so, But I think two boys is kind of good. It teaches you to deal with being competitive. I think too often in our society, we don't allow boys to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many ways of sublimating it and stopping it. And I think that it's a natural impulse. And I think that boys that have gone through that can kind of excel in the workplace and in other ways that only children or people that were more spaced out don't have. I think it builds a muscle.
Right. It's interesting to watch with Elliot and Owen. My heart, Owen doesn't really seem to mind, but I always wonder what will be the effect on him of having grown up with someone like yelling, "No!" which is what Elliot does, at him constantly, or like just physically blocking him or just taking his toys. And I mean, Elliot is not that much of an asshole. But he does all that stuff.
But it's an obstacle to what Owen wants, and Owen gets what he wants. And so when he has a boss that's negating his ideas or his efforts, Owen will have the fortitude to continue on.
Right. I hope you're right. I think you're right. I mean, people grow up with siblings all the time and they are fine. I just feel like Elliot didn't grow up with this aggressive energy coming at him all the time or ever. And for Owen, it is part of his daily life, is like this person just creating conflict around him all the time. The other thing is that
I think it'll be an issue if you make it an issue.
Yeah, I try to be calm about it. I try to be supportive. I try not to come down too hard. But then I also try not to let Owen be too mistreated.
Right.
But Elliot will say something or make a sound, and then Owen will imitate it. So Elliot will be like, let's say he made like a fart sound, like, and then Owen goes like this. And then Elliot goes, "He cannot say what I say ever again." So he did that yesterday. "He cannot say what I say ever again."
Yeah.
And I think Owen understood.
You already took my parents. You can't take my sound also.
Owen looked like he'd been like hit in the face with water. Like, I think he understood it, and he looked like he was about to cry. And then I said, "Well, Elliot, everyone can say what they want to say." And so then he seemed to accept that, and then Owen said it again. There's a tweet in this New York Times article, which I think is very funny. It's from Virginia Soul Smith. It says, "My children are currently fighting over an invisible bike that the 7-year-old won't share. I pointed out to the 3-year-old that she could just ride her own invisible bike, and she lay down and sobbed, 'But I only want hers.'"
That's really kind of profound, actually.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's really not about the bike. It was never about the bike.
I know. I look forward to the part where they become best friends. I've been promised that happens. And if it doesn't, I will want my money back. You know something you won't want your money back on, Greg?
The transition to this commercial read?
That's right. It's flawless. This episode of Childish is brought to you by Lemonade Health. The new year is a great time to check in on your general health and well-being, especially in the middle of a pandemic. Lemonade Health is a virtual medical office providing you affordable health care without the need to use insurance and from the comfort and convenience of your home. Lemonade's virtual medical team can treat anything from anxiety and depression to birth control delivery and more. Lemonade's providing Childish listeners, that's you guys, with their first month of anxiety or depression treatment for a discounted price of $5. It's normally $95. Service is cancelable at any time. Lemonade's service allows you to have as many check-ins as you need through messaging or via phone call or video chat, whatever's most convenient for you. Lemonade Pharmacy will then deliver FDA-approved meds directly to your door in only 2 to 3 business days. Treatment is confidential, not tied to insurance or your local pharmacy. Take the first step towards feeling better. Visit lemonadehealth.com/childish, LEMONAID health.com/childish. So again, not spelled the way The drink is lemonadehealth.com/childish to get your first month of anxiety or depression treatment for only $5. Do you
That'll
have something?
cheer you up right out of the gate.
Do you have something to cheer us up?
Well, I mean, we talk about all these breakthroughs now with, digital companies, is that you don't have to go in person. I mean, think about how many errands people used to run. And now, like with this company, it's a new year, and you want to think about, if you don't have life insurance, I can't say it enough. Nothing has made me sleep better over these last 20 years than knowing that if something horrible happens, then my wife's going to be okay. My kids are going to be helped out. So policygenius.com lets you figure out how much you need, which company is going to save you the most on getting it. You can save, they say literally like 50% you can save.
Wow.
They're licensed experts. These are not insurance companies. This is a marketplace. So you can end up getting something for as little as $1 a day. Some of them let you skip the in-person medical exam, which I appreciate very much. And then here's the best part. They handle all the paperwork, and you fill out the initial thing, and then any problems come up, they are on it. So they've gotten a 5-star rating from over 1,600 reviews on Trustpilot and Google. Make it the year you finally cross life insurance off your list and get protection for your loved ones. Go to policygenius.com and get started. You could save 50% or more by comparing quotes and start the new year with one less thing to worry about. Policy Genius. When it comes to insurance, it's nice to get it right.
It is nice to get it right.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. Greg, you know what I realized I didn't do is I usually like to embarrass you by reading reviews for this show on Apple Podcasts.
Allison, no.
I know you hate it. You can't stand the praise, but this is not a gambit. This is not like I really did forget.
Here's what people need to understand about this show. Okay. It's highly choreographed. It's planned weeks in advance. And then before we start, we walk through the script piece by piece, ad by ad, news item by news item. And not once does Allison ever mention that she will be doing this. And then she just throws it in.
I like to just keep you on your toes. Look, we get wonderful comments. Okay. And I like to share them, and I like to let everyone know that we appreciate them, and we read every single one.
We do. That is very nice that people are writing them in.
Holly, Alabama, 18555 says, love! This is such a wholesome, hilarious, and relatable podcast. Wholesome. I mean, I love it, but my God, what else is she listening to?
Does she mean that we talk about holes a lot?
I was introduced to Greg from the Whiskey Ginger pod and immediately fell in love with him. Now, because of this pod, I'm in love with Alison. Stop! They're both so funny and great storytellers. Definitely download. You won't regret it. Thank you.
Well, shout out to Andrew Santino for getting us in the mix.
Thank you, Andrew Santino. That was not painful, Greg.
No, that was
easy and nice. Yeah. If you would like to leave us a comment, please do. It helps out the show. It helps people find us, etc. Click 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. We love when you do that. And also follow us on social media at Childish Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Greg, should we do some highs and lows?
Yes.
Highs and lows.
What do you have?
I gotta say, I haven't been on the road very much at all this year. I just did my 4th weekend in 10 months. And as much as it was wonderful to be alone in a hotel room with no responsibilities and to order DoorDash while I laid in bed like a slob and watched football for 2 days straight, coming home, the feeling of coming home and getting out of the Uber in front of my house, walking up the front steps, the door, I don't know how your dog is, but if I'm away for longer than a day, my dogs lose their absolute shit. And when I'm gone for like 4 days, forget it. It goes on for 15 minutes where they run in circles and throw their bodies at my shins, and it's like nuts. that happens. I couldn't hug my wife or kids because of the quarantine,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they came out on the front step and there was love in their eyes and the feeling of walking into the house. And it was just great. It was like, it reminded me of like why I got into this business of raising a family.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's a really good high. My high is that Elliot's potty training is just going so well, and he woke up today with a dry diaper. So yeah, that's
Whoa.
pretty significant.
Yeah.
I just want to say, for anyone out there who's grappling with the potty training, when to do it, etc. For us, we waited until he was ready, until he wanted to do it. And for us, that has been such a good decision because it's just gone so smoothly. There's been no, bad feelings, no power struggles, and he's like really almost potty trained. And I do think now luckily we are all home right now. I don't know how it would go if he was going in the car frequently or we were out in public and he had to use,
Yeah.
but his diaper or his pull-up is dry he hasn't had any accidents, although of course it is okay if he does. So he's very proud of himself and I'm very proud of him. A question about this. I forgot to mention this earlier. This came up. So whilst potty training, sometimes pee will get in places, and I gave him a little bit of toilet paper and I said, do you want a dab? Because he doesn't know to shake it off yet, the pee. And so he has really taken to the dabbing. So after he pees sitting down, and then he'll say, I want to do the dabby dab dab, which is what he calls it. And then he takes a little bit of toilet paper and he wipes. Now,
What does he wipe?
His penis.
Just the tip or the whole penis?
Okay, well, it started with just the tip, as it always does. That's weird. That's a weird joke to make about. Please realize that was just a word thing.
This is a wholesome show, Alison.
I know. Started with just the tip. Now there's just wiping of the whole area, much like how he's seen me wipe.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like, little kids like rituals, and his ritual now involves a dabby dab dab. But Daniel saw this and was like, you don't need to do that. And he was like, but mommy told me blah, blah, blah. And Daniel's like, mommy doesn't have a penis. And Daniel's telling me this. And I said, Daniel, you don't wait till he notices that on his own. I have not consulted a book or anything.
No. Look, when you're talking about the dabby dab dab dab, you gotta let the daddy dad 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 decide.
I know. I felt bad afterwards that I was telling my husband how to handle all of this. I'm out of control. I'm telling you. I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been home for too long.
Well, it's very hard, and actually, this seamlessly transitions into my low because
okay.
My low is that I'm very close to both my kids. We always joke that I have more of an affinity with JoJo, and Aaron lines up more with Owen, like in every aspect. Like me and JoJo look alike. Aaron and Owen look exactly alike. We have the exact same personalities. Like me and JoJo are like ADHD, funny, dreamy, a little sad. Owen and Aaron are like microtask, keep moving, whatever. So Owen's been kind of having a hard time because he's not at college and he's home and he's bored out of his fucking skull. And it's starting to really get to him. It's starting to really get him down. And Aaron has talked to him about it a lot, and he really opens up to her and he really shares with her. And I'm finding myself feeling kind of squeezed out. Like I look at him and I see that he's down and I try to engage and I don't feel the connection happening as much with him being down, and I don't feel himself opening himself up to me. And it really makes me sad because I want to be there for him. And I don't know if maybe his needs are completely getting met by Aaron and he doesn't need me. Maybe he watches a lot of like romantic movies. He's a real like softie. He cries and so I think it just made me sad today. I came home and then she told me while I was away that he was really down, and he's going back to school in a few weeks, so that'll be good for him. But in the meantime, I don't want him to feel like I wasn't able to be there for him.
Right. I think there might be a thing where sons want to be perceived as strong in front of their father. And so it's easier, even though you are such a good, compassionate, like not into that macho bullshit father, still there might be an element of that where it's easier for him to be vulnerable in front of Aaron.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday, Elliot came in and he said, "Daddy, don't listen." And he came up to me and he had gotten a paper cut and he was like crying about it and needed a Band-Aid. And he's only 3 and he didn't want Daniel to listen.
Wow.
So I wonder if it could be something like that.
Yeah, no, there's probably some truth to that. I can see that. I think all I can do is ask him how he's doing and see how much he wants to open up, and not push it.
Right. I think just respect it, like letting him drive that ship. Again, back to the ship stuff. Letting him drive that ship, but letting him know that you're there if he wants to talk about it.
And if he wants to just put it on the shelf on the ship, then he should just put it there.
As long as it's light.
Yes.
If it's heavy duty kind of emotion, then that's better on the ground, leaned against the wall.
Absolutely.
Yeah, anchored though. Yeah, not the ship anchor, but so to go back to the dabby dab for a sec, would you have that same reaction of slight disgust if your son was using, because Daniel's just like, boys don't use toilet paper, for pee.
I mean, you don't want to shame him about it, but I think you also want your son to go into the real world not being made fun of for doing, ridiculous things. Yeah.
So it's the word ridiculous. Okay, Daniel had the same. What is with you guys and your scorn for toilet paper? It's just not necessary.
Not at that age. At that age, it's like, how your faucet, when you have it and it's new, you turn the handle and it fucking tightens up and nothing comes out. And now you got a New York City apartment that's a tenement from the 1930s, and you close that thing, and there's still all right. Daniel is the brand new faucet. No, Daniel is the old faucet.
Yeah,
Elliot is the brand new. It's got new washers in it. It's got nice rubber. The inside is all rubber and yeah, he doesn't.
I get what you're saying,
paper.
But there's also like a little bit of pee that sometimes gets on his leg and gets on the toilet and gets on the child's seat on the toilet. And I mean, it's not a precise operation at this point.
What does a male do in the wild? A male animal?
Shake it off like the Taylor Swift song? I don't know. Bury their urine?
They mark.
Oh, that's what he's doing. I see what you're saying.
He's marking.
So anyway,
you're keeping him from marking.
So today, I said when he wanted to do yesterday with the dabby, I said you don't have to do that if you don't want. And he said, Daddy said you don't have a penis. And I said, that's right. And he said, why don't you have a penis? And I said, well, girls have vaginas and boys have penises. And then he said, and I get
should have just said, I don't wear mine. It's in the bedside table.
Again, my thing was, let's just wait for him to notice this. Because I was raised in like a very Freudian household where I have this idea in my head that like when boys realize that girls don't have penises, potentially they worry that theirs could like fall off or something. So I don't know. I don't even know if that's true. It's like a truism that I've grown up with. I don't know if that actually holds up psychologically. But I was like, let's not flood him with info before he's ready. But then he told me that he said regarding the vagina, it looks like a strawberry. It's shaped like a strawberry. And I was like, he's right.
Yeah, that's good.
I know. So anyway, my low, and this is really stupid. Like, I almost don't even want to share it. I had Mark Norman on my podcast on the Monday show. He's great reaction. But I talked about that morning my mother-in-law's here, which is like saving our ass right now. But that morning, Daniel was talking loudly to her about politics, and he's like very like angry about whatever, worked up about it, and it was loud. And then Elliot was running around in a circle saying, "Look at me, Owen, look at me, Owen," and getting mad at Owen, who wasn't looking at him because I don't think he really understands that. And it was just very, very noisy, and I was not awake yet. And I went in the other room and I sat down at my computer and I thought, if everyone went out for a while, I don't know when I would miss them. And I shared that on the show. And there has been a little bit of misunderstanding of that. Like, someone was like, I don't think it's normal to want your kids to leave, like to never see your kids again. That was depressing to hear. And I, all the time, try to adopt this pose of like, I'm just going to be myself. I'm just going to say what comes to mind. And I need to let go of this thing where I want everyone to understand me and like me and approve of me and blah, blah, blah. Like I am, I share my thoughts on a podcast, and what people do with those thoughts is their business. However, so I was surprised at how much it bummed me out that's how it was interpreted, when I feel like what I shared was a pretty normal feeling from someone who has been in a home with the same people literally every second of every day since late February.
I think there's times where you solidify your fan base, and there's times where you shake it off. Like,
I don't want to be shaking them off.
For one person that you lose, 10 people go like, God, that I really related. That really helped me. That I feel guilty sometimes that I feel like that. I'm so glad somebody had the guts to say it. Okay. And the people that don't get that, I don't know that those are your listeners, because that doesn't sound to me like what I would picture to be a listener of Alison Rosa. You're a very like, I know you're not from New York, but I almost think of you as a New Yorker sometimes. Like, I think that you're very direct and honest, and I think you have a little edge to you. And I don't think anybody can argue with the other parts of your mothering and caring. And
well, I hope, because that's what I began to worry about.
You can't hope. You just believe. Just you is what you're doing. That's your instinct. So the people that write notes are not the people you have to listen to.
Right.
Those are usually fringe people.
All right. Thanks, Greg. I feel better now.
Unless they write nice shit and then read it on the air.
Owen should avail himself of that kind of advice. Your Owen.
Oh, my Owen. Yeah. Right.
I feel like we might need to take some calls.
We haven't taken calls in a while, and they've been kind of backing up. So why don't we do a couple?
Let's do just a couple.
All right.
See, there's one of those famous mistakes we referenced earlier.
You rang.
If you would like to call into the show and leave us a voicemail, we won't answer. That's our promise to you. 805-317-4243. And if that went by too fast, you can get all this info on our website.
Wait, what's the number again?
It's 805-317-4243.
All right, I got to figure out what that spells so we can get like a call Alison and Greg kind of a thing.
I love that. Okay, Here we go. I don't know which one this is.
The problem is there's an O in it, and I don't think O has any numbers underneath it. No.
Well, it could be like 805 call Greg and Alison.
Yeah. All right, I'll focus on that.
Hi, Allison and Greg. I super love your show. This is Alyssa from Seattle. I just thought I would share something funny, which is when you guys were doing highs and lows in October, I was taking a pregnancy test, and we've been trying, so I've taken so many, and he said, Allison, what is your high? No, let me guess, you're pregnant. And the second Greg said that, I looked at my test, and it was positive. So anyway, we found out we're having identical twin girls, and they're due at the end of June. So anyway, just thought I would share that. Again, love your show. Bye.
Alyssa, congratulations. Greg, you
That's amazing.
Brought these children into existence.
Well, look, I'm a simple man. I come from farming people, but I've got a gift. And to question where it comes from is blasphemous. You accept from the universe and you
Yeah.
channel.
That's
And
right.
hopefully people get something from that. Or they leave it.
You're so centered. Where were you on this last little jaunt? Because you had a spiritual awakening, didn't you?
I did the shows at night and then I was in an ashram during the day chanting.
But what part of the country for real?
I was in Tempe, Arizona, home of Arizona State University, where my kids will never go to school over my dead body. The kids are so fucking dumb. And it is
oh my God.
It's just sunshine and stupidity. It's like bars that were open, like sports bars with balconies that had rap blaring at noon and kids screaming and drinking. And I'm sitting outside a Starbucks and I'm overhearing conversations that make me cringe. Girls that end every word is like, oh my God, no way. And there was I think it was a first date. There was a couple and the girl says to the guy, and I'm not making this up. She goes, you know what's weird, is I like ketchup, but I can't stand tomatoes,
I mean, that is weird.
It was weird. Maybe weird enough in a passing thought. That should not be the springboard into a 5-minute conversation on said topic.
How was he intrigued by this?
He was either intrigued by that or he was trying very hard to have sex with this young woman. So he was pretending.
So that's, I'm being those girls.
There you go.
I went to high school in Orange County, California, and the goal of every person I went to school with was to become a rich real estate person and move back to Corona del Mar, California, and to go to USC. I did that out of order, but everyone there wanted to go to USC. However, if they couldn't get into USC, they would go to Arizona State. So I know these people you're talking about.
Yeah.
I fled them.
Yeah.
That being said, regarding the overhearing of dumb conversations, and I still remember this because it etched itself in my mind. I was with my friend Trevor, who I think I've mentioned before. We had graduated high school and we went to Disneyland to celebrate graduation. And I was in line for some ride and I said to him, is it Caribbean or Caribbean? Which I think is a legitimate question. And some idiot nearby overheard me and was like, oh my God, man, how do you deal with this? To my friend Trevor. And I have felt misjudged for every year ever since.
Well, what do you think it is? Caribbean or Caribbean?
Caribbean. But for some reason, I think people say Pirates of the Caribbean.
Caribbean Queen. Now we're sharing the same dream.
That's the guy where you can't hear that song because you turn it because it reminds you of the woman's boyfriend.
Yes. Yes. Wait, what band is that?
I don't know. Is it even a woman or a man?
Oh, it's a man, but he has no testosterone. He's on a lot of light FMs. It's not Toto, is it? Do you think it's Toto?
I don't think so. Could it be Toto? Let's look in the chat room.
See what people are saying. What are they chatting? Maybe they don't know.
People are saying, so this is true. Didn't Daniel go to USC and some Arizona school? Yes, Daniel did go to USC. He went to USC. Hang on. He's from Arizona. He went to USC Film School, and he shares my assessment of all of these people. So yes, he did. But when I first found out he went to USC, I thought, But I quickly realized he's one of the good ones. No offense. And by the way, USC has become a very, very, very good school. So I have nothing negative to say about anyone who goes to USC. I only have negative things to say about people that I went to high school with.
Billy Ocean.
Billy Ocean. There you go.
Who has a tremendous amount of testosterone. He just He's a romantic.
Can I say something? And this will, this might rankle you, although it's not about you. Earlier, when I was saying that I explained to Elliot when he asked why I don't have a penis, and I'm like, well, girls have vaginas and boys have penises. I know that in this day and age, it is more complicated than that, and that is not the full picture. However, I think to try to give him an answer that sounds more inclusive, I worry that would confuse him. So that is why I just went the bare bones thing that he could wrap his head around.
Right.
Okay. We have another.
Why don't you have a penis, Mom? Because God wanted me to solve more problems. Send in your punchlines for
Yes.
being asked, why don't you have a penis?
This is like in the New Yorker when you can send in your own captions.
For the cartoon.
Yeah. You want to hear another voicemail or should we do an email?
Let's do another voicemail.
Let's do it.
Okay, I'm sorry I'm calling back again. I need to reiterate. All I'm saying is don't even focus on the lying part about Elliot lying about pooping just to get the treat. Don't give him any power. Totally ignore that. And just say, you get a treat when you show me something to give you a treat for. It's going to be so awesome because you know how to put poop in the toilet and then show me. Don't talk about lying. He's not an idiot. He knows he's lying. Give him no power. Don't give him power when it comes to lying. Don't even worry about shaming him. He'll be ashamed himself because he knows he's lying. But you will empower him by making him show you the poop. Because then you're going to give him Skittles or whatever you do. All right, you guys. You know I love you. I could go on, but I'm not going to. Last call. For real. Love you. Bye.
What is she, Cuba Gooding Jr.? Show me the poop! Say it! Show me the poop! First of all, I don't know that kids have shame about lying at that age. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think they really, I don't know if they don't have shame about it, but I do think there is an innate knowledge of whether they are lying or not. Because the story that she is referring to, Elliot sent me out of the room and then told Daniel that he had pooped in the toilet. And because he sent me out of the room because he knew that I knew the truth. So I don't know if he's just really crafty or if he didn't want me to hear what he was about to do. I don't know if it was like a convenience thing, like you got to get mom out of the picture, or if it was a potentially like guilt shame thing. I don't know.
Right. Huh. Well, your thoughts, send them in. Call us.
Email us, childishpod@gmail.com.
Here's an email that came in. Oh, we got
Okay.
to put a little logo, our little sting.
That's right. Thank you for reminding me.
You wrote.
All right, this is a little lengthy, so I chopped it down a bit. It's from, it says it's from Nina Banks, but in fact, the email address was a different name. So I don't know if she has a pseudonym. Maybe she's a vaudevillian of some sort who has a stage plum to nom de plum.
Well, I love it. Someone vaudevillian writing in.
Hi, Allison and Greg. My brother and I are both in our 30s. This year is our mom's 70th birthday. Wanted to do something special. I want to give her the party of her dreams, get it catered, special decorations, photographer, etc. So not your average party. This will still cost probably at least a few $1,000s if we're able to have as many guests as we want. She's saying, by the way, this is,
post-COVID.
Including COVID, like post-COVID.
Yeah.
My husband and I are in the fortunate position that we have done a good job of saving and have the funds for things like this, or so I thought, until I started discussing it with him, and he's already expressing anxiety over spending that on a party. He is the major breadwinner between us, so I don't want to seem like Marie Antoinette over here, but I don't think I'm asking for the moon. I can't help feeling kind of incensed over fighting about money for such a special occasion. I wouldn't blink twice to do the same for either of his parents. For him, I think it's more of that's money. That's a lot of money for a party. So it's not anything personal with my mom or family. We have a loving marriage, 13 years, no kids. And I know he doesn't want to hurt me, but I can see friction over this coming a mile away. Have you ever had this happen to you in your marriage? And how did you deal with it? Thanks a million, parentheses, Nina
Mm.
Banks, allegedly.
Nina. How would her husband feel about $400 worth of shelves? I am her husband. Because I too was like, I mean, that is a lot of money for for a party. What do you think, Greg?
Well, what is Nina's intention? And her intention, as far as he's concerned, is to take money from their marriage and to give it to somebody who's special to her.
Mm-hmm.
Not every year. This is the 70th. She feels like this is a big one. And she did mention in a part that I cut out that she's splitting it with her siblings and her father. So look, if she's bragging about how much money they got, and it's a few $1,000s split 3 ways, I don't think $1,000 every 10 years on a party is going to put them out. They got no kids.
Right.
But it's never about that. It's about
No.
the pretend bicycle. This is another pretend bicycle. They're never going to see this money in their accounts at the end of their lives. They're not going to go, shit, we came up $1,000 short. Now we got to eat dog food for the rest of our lives. That's not going to happen. This is an imaginary bicycle. So what's really going on? What's really going on?
Yeah, I mean, it
Fear
might.
of money.
Yeah, it's hard to know without knowing their specific financial situation, but I am wondering, does it have to do with feeling with a judgment about how that money is spent? Like if she were to say, for my mom's 70th, I want to give her this gift, a gift of it's a $1,000 gift, but I think it's going to mean the world to my mom. Like that he might be okay with. So it might be, it's about, because that's essentially what this is, you know? She's saying, hey, I want to give my mom an extravagant gift. Can we do that? I think that's a nice gesture. He might just be like, this feels like a waste of money, but it's not really about that.
However this plays out, here's my impression of Nina's husband at the party.
Honey, what's wrong? Is everything okay? You have kind of a sour look on your face.
He will not enjoy this party. That's
No.
one thing we have to, I think she may have to like say, let's split off a couple bucks for you since you're so goddamn selfish, and let you go on a little fishing trip with the boys or a jaunt to Vegas or whatever you need to do for
To
your
feel-
petty little self to feel
Right.
whole again.
It is interesting in a couple, these different views of money. And of course, I'm talking about Daniel and me. Because he is like, I'm not going to let worry about money like ruin my life. I've watched too many people do that. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it then.
Yeah.
I'll let the worrying about money to ruin my life.
It's hard. Everybody has different relationships to money, and a lot of times it comes from childhood. I was raised by a mother who was one of 6 who grew up with, immigrant parents from Ireland and in the Bronx with no money, and she never was able to acclimate to the fact that we were comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was very cheap, and she was very scared about money, and I have a lot of that, and I deal with it all the time. And so maybe, she needs to talk to the husband in a gentle way and say, maybe you need to take a look at your issues with money. And I'm not saying that you should be totally comfortable with this, but let's at least come at it from the perspective that, maybe you have some issues about letting go of cash.
Right. Agreed.
And
Greg, I think we did it again.
no,
I think we did.
wait a minute. That's not possible because they said that we couldn't do it again.
I don't know. For some reason, they're hung up on this idea that we can't do it again. And yet, time after time, we do it every single time. And they're still insisting we want one of these times. We're not going to do it. I don't think so. We've done it. We do it again and again.
In your face. In your
face.
faces.
In your face. Eat our ass. Because we just did it again.
We did it again, Allison, and it's always a pleasure and an honor. I want to ask people to please keep reaching out to us, phone, email. We love hearing from you. And it's not that I don't like hearing positive things. I do. I don't like bragging about it on the air, but I love reading about it off the air. So please send those in. Also, I have to cancel a couple stand-up dates. I just got back off the road and I said, this is fucking crazy. I can't put myself in this danger. My family is danger. I don't want to encourage the use of or the going out without the use of masks, which is what happens in comedy clubs. I've learned in the last couple weeks. So I canceled Kansas City in January, will now be in May, and Portland will now be in September. So those are canceled. But you can buy t-shirts. We sold out of the Grapefruit Simmons t-shirts over Christmas. People bought them as gifts. We got a new shipment in. Go to fitzdog.com. Get yourself a Grapefruit Simmons t-shirt. They're fun.
I have got to get my merch sorted out. You hooked me up with your people. I started talking to them. Then the pandemic hit. And then there's nothing on that front. That's my 2021 resolution.
There you go. Hello, merch.
Did you tell people about your other podcasts?
Sunday Papers comes out on Sundays, and Fitzdog Radio airs every Tuesday, rain or shine.
Rain or shine. And I would love if you guys would check out my other podcast, Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. Monday is a one-on-one. This week I have Mark Norman. Thursday is a panel. And youtube.com/Alison Rosen is where you can go if you want to watch the Monday show. I'm on Patreon, patreon.com/Alison Rosen. I have a book out. And I'm on Cameo. Been doing some cameos lately. I think I'm making people's lives better. Anything else?
If you need to call us, our phone number is 805-317-I-AGE.
Sexy, glamorous. I love it.
I-AGE.
I-AGE. I-AGE. I love it. We're called Childish, but we have a geriatric sounding phone number. We really got the bookends of life.
I think what we're saying is we may live in Hollywood, but we own growing up.
That's right. We're growing old gracefully. These laugh lines are funny. You remember that commercial for Oil of Olay? I'm not going to grow old grace. I forget what it was, but she said her laugh lines weren't very funny.
Did she do the little ha-ha at the end?
No, but I wish she had.
It was a nice touch. I liked it.
I wish she had.
All right, well, listen, I am Greg Fitzsimmons.
I'm Alison Rosen.
And we are
Childish. Okay, I've turned my audio thing off. And bye, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. You